YouTube Bigger 01, welcome back to the channel. I just want to do a video, second video on this 1983 PW50 that I purchased for my son. I'm going to call it Project Little Air, so it should be a little fun. So in this video I'm going to break down the bike into all its parts and try to determine what I actually need. I purchased this bike in its current condition. It doesn't run. A few issues that I noticed right away. So like it's going to need a carb clean, probably new gas. It's also going to need some electrical work or electrical harness probably redone on it that I can see initially on it. So I'm going to break this down into a bunch of different steps that I'm going to tear this bike down. I'm going to start off by draining the gas tank and the oil out of the bike. Then I'm going to take all the plastic off, and then I'm going to remove the frame and then the carburetor and all of that stuff all in different steps. So I'll try to show you each step, sort of where the bolts are and any tips that I may have during this video. So sit back and relax and watch the video. So let's start off by removing the oil. So the oil we have to remove is from the transmission, which it takes 10W40 oil. We're going to remove that bolt there and drain all the oil out of it, and then we're going to go to the other side and drain all the gas out of the gas tank. I've got Little Air helping me do a little bit of the work on this bike, so if you want to push down on it there, Little Air. Just keep turning it. So you're going to take it off and put it on right. In the oil, as you can see, it's quite dark oil. I don't know when it was last changed, but the guy that I bought it off said that they just put some oil in it, but I have a feeling that it's probably been in there for quite some time. It's only supposed to have 300 mils, which that looks a lot more than 300 milliliters, but we'll see. Oil's out. What you want to look for is any milkiness. As you can see, there's little shavings in there. I'm not too sure what that's from, but it could be from the clutch or even just some paint or something in there. It seems kind of weird though. It's got definitely some little shavings in there that, as you can see, sort of right there. That if you look right, that's a shaving that shouldn't be in there. That came from the bike, so definitely watch for that. Next step we're going to do is we're going to remove the this hose from the carburetor and drain all of the gas out of the gas tank. I want to make sure that the pepcock is off, so that when you pull off the gas from the carburetor, that it's not going to leak all over you, and then you can drain the gas. Okay, so I got it removed. Open up we're just going to drain all the gas. I have all of the gas, or most of the gas anyhow, out of the tank. So now we're going to remove the plastic. So I've already started. There's two bolts right here to take off your whole back seat. Okay. Then you're going to have a bolt here, which was loose, to remove your gas tank. And obviously you got to undo this part right here as well, so that the gas tank can come off. And then there's a couple bolts to remove the front fender. So the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the whole exhaust system. So you need looks like a 10 mil bolt there to take off the pipe, along with this just kind of squeezes off by the looks of it, and it should just pull right out of there. And then you're going to have two 10 mil bolts right here as well on the head to remove. So I got the exhaust off. I forgot to mention there's a bolt here the holding on like that. Okay, and then you have your two head bolts, and it comes right off. I suggest maybe, because this bike is so old, you use WD-40 to help break a lot of the bolts loose, and go from there. So as you can see, there's lots of grime here. This is your oil pump, your two-stroke oil pump. So whoever had this did not have this hooked up. So I've got one on the way, a new one coming. I'm not going to bother messing around. This almost feels like it's, well, it's not seized, but It's something that I'm not going to mess around with. I'd rather replace with a brand new part. As you can see, this shouldn't be like this. This should go right up to the top of the oil pump, or where the oil, that's where it comes in, right? So yeah, so the next step, I'm going to take off the tires. Okay, so we're going to remove the rear wheel here. To do that, you need to take off the main bolt here. You need to remove these two bolts, this bolt, and this bolt. I've already loosened this bolt a little bit. My kid's already gone inside because he's cold. Okay, so there's a little bushing here as well. We'll clean all those parts up after I'm all done here. I'm making sure I put all my bolts back where they belong so that I don't lose any. Okay, next we're going to undo this bolt here. Move the shock out of the way. And then this should just come off your little swing arm. I'm going to loosen the brakes right off because it could be still somewhat on. They feel like they're on. Okay, so I loosened off the brake. I'll show you what the guy did here, but it's pretty easy once the brake is not applied. It just comes right off, just like that. So, make sure this bike doesn't drop here. So, the guy who had this before, you can tell he's made this little thing here, so it doesn't work. I got a whole new brake cable coming for this. It's definitely not the way it's supposed to be, but brakes don't look too bad of shape, but I will be replacing those as well, and making sure my boy has something safe to ride. So, but new brakes is what's coming. So now let's do the front tire. Same thing, just gonna undo those bolts right down there, and it should come right off. Okay, so I got these bolts off. Just make sure you don't lose any of the parts again. Just slide that bolt, the axle bolt, right out. And it should all drop just like that. And then your brakes should just pull right out of the front hub. Just like that. Next, I'm going to remove the front shocks, and then there's two bolts on the top here that have to be undone to take them out. I'm going to repaint these. So as you can see, I got this bolt and this bolt removed, so now I'll just tap it out straight out the bottom, hanging onto it. Forgot to mention that there's a bolt here and the same on the other side that you have to loosen off to pull these out. So I've already loosened them off, and you give it a little tap at the top, and it just slides right out. So again, don't forget to loosen these bolts. Just like that. They're all out. Probably going to replace those, but I also undid this here, which I think I'm going to be replacing just on how brittle those wires are. I might just see if they work first, like when I get the new wiring harness, before I go and replace that. I'm sure that's fine, but we'll see. I won't know until I pull it all apart. So the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the carburetor. So I'm going to take off the carburetor and the airbox. So to do that, you need to remove this screw here, and this screw here, and then everything all pops out of there. So I'm going to start off by removing the petcock. Get that out of the way. There's no bolt behind there. So the airbox should just slide right off. So this is gonna have the kit that I got comes with everything all together. So it's gonna come with an airbox, brand new carburetor, all new cables. So you've got your throttle cable, which is looped up under here, and then this is your choke cable. Just like that. Pretty simple to take this all apart. I will take it apart and clean it and see, just so that I have a spare for now, in case the new one doesn't work, because I don't know what it's going to be like. So, but yeah, that's all off now. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug all of the wires, and they're all color coded, so when they're pretty easy to go back together, because after that it'll be just pulling out the frame from the motor. One's clear. I have to unhook this one off the coil. Look at this. So obviously they weren't aware that you can actually get a whole new coil for like, I think it's $9. I think what I paid, and an expensive one is $15. So yeah, it's unfortunate that they did this. I mean, it probably didn't run the greatest because it's barely even hooked on there. But I would imagine it broke when they were trying to slide the seat underneath where it's supposed to go under here. The clip's under here. So oh well, it is what it is. And yeah, so now all the wiring's all unhooked. So I should be able to just undo this main bolt here, and the motor should just slide right out from the frame. So to remove the frame from the motor, you have to undo that bolt there, and there's a nut on the other side, and you have to remove both these shocks here. Just pick one side. I'm going to pick the bottom side because I've already taken it off on that side, and just remove the shock because the shock's going to stay with the frame. And with all the wiring unhooked and everything like that, you should just pull right out. Alright, so I got this bolt all undone now, so I should just slide right out. As you can see now, everything's all moving, so the motor goes straight out the back. Not to mention, before we take it all apart or pull out the motor, we're going to take off the rear brake assembly so that the cable stays with the frame. Okay, so like I said, it should just come right out. Kind of hard to do by yourself, but there we go. So it's all broken down. Now it'll be just cleaning up everything and waiting for the new parts to come in. So if you liked how I broke down this bike, or if you had any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section below, or ask any questions you may have. And now I'm just going to get on to cleaning it and doing waiting for the new parts to show up. So if you like this video, definitely subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for future videos in regards to this bike. Thanks for watching.